Asian Licensing Conference 2021. This year, the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, HKTDC, and Business Focus is jointly launching a conference series, namely the Entrepreneur Dialogue, Invent a Business with Creative Use of IPs. The series aims to inspire more to invent businesses with innovative uses of IPs and disrupt the market, hence stimulating new market demand and transforming industries which would be conducive to the economic recovery, especially in Asia. Today, we are very happy to have Ms. Esther Nguyen, founder and CEO of Pops Worldwide, to share her journey of entrepreneurship on the IP businesses. Esther has also been awarded by the Forbes as one of the 10 inspirational female tech entrepreneurs from SEA in 2017. Hello, Esther.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me to speak.
So, Esther, what made you jump into the music licensing industry and founded Pops Worldwide in Vietnam in 2007?
Oh, I think it was a little bit of craziness and young, foolish thinking of, I could pretty much do anything and conquer the world. I was in Silicon Valley at the time, and I had this grandiose idea of, hey, let's start the Spotify of Vietnam. And this was even before Spotify existed. This is when Facebook was just getting started back in 2007. And I looked at Vietnam as, what was important to the culture of the country, and what was important to them. And it's always been music. And so I knew that there was whatever I was doing had to be about music, which is what connects everyone together.
Well, that's wonderful. I know that Pops Worldwide is now a leading digital media company in the Southeast Asia, not just distributing music to Vietnam. Could you tell us more about the content and market that Pops is covering today?
Yeah, no, I think, with music, it was a great starting point, and really understanding, how to license and how to educate the whole market about music. But we decided, why stop there, and why not explore into other genres of content as well as other formats. And so we moved from music into entertainment into kids, into anime, into comics, webtoons, and now into esports. And not just, looking at it from a content vertical standpoint, but as well as territory. We started here in Vietnam, and we created a great base here, but what makes us, why not look outside? And so we moved into Thailand a few years ago, and we are now very strong and leading in Thailand. And we just launched Indonesia in September, about, a little over 2 months ago.
Well, that's very exciting time for you guys, right? So does
Yes,
Pops
it is.
also promote Vietnamese content?
We promote Vietnamese content, but we don't stop there. We actually do work with Thai content creators as well as local creators and KOLs or artists in Indonesia. But we also work with some of our key partners like TV Asahi or TV Tokyo in Japan and more, actually. Warner Media is a big partner of ours. And there's a long list of international partners that we work with to license and to promote their content in our territories.
So Pops is definitely doing great in terms of providing content to the consumers. And is Pops also a profit-making company now?
I would say we are reinvesting all of our profits back into the company. I think one of the big push for us, prior to it was about how do we work to promote and create IP and distribute on other platforms like YouTube or Facebook and so forth. But last year and moving forward, our big push is about going directly to the consumer. We have so much data to understand what people are watching, when they're watching, how long they're watching for, and what devices. And we're able to really narrow down what consumers are interested in, how to build IP, how to build brands. And we wanted to be closer to the consumer, and so we launched our own platform to do so.
So Pops definitely has a lot of great content. Can you share with us how you monetize the media content for Pops when all the consumers nowadays are so used to free download of contents?
Yeah, it was It's been quite a long journey, I would have to say. In 2000, I would say 2008, it was we're scrambling to find out how we can monetize digital content, and a lot of people didn't understand what we were talking about, and we really had to create our market ourselves. And that would be in terms of finding the right target audience and to understand the markets themselves. So Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia, we're all in the same region, Southeast Asia. However, these are three very different markets. So we had to go down and look, where do they consume? How do they consume? And to follow along their habits of, they're used to having free content, right? And so, understanding this, and we decided to go the route of scale. How do we get in front of as many eyeballs as possible, regardless of where they are around the region? And who needs scale? Which are advertisers. And if we're able to hone down on how to get the content in front of the consumers, advertisers are there too, standing side by side with us. And so we're able to really match and connect the advertisers with the right audience, leveraging content.
Right, so working with advertisers is really important.
That's right. And then also understanding that there's a lot of digital platforms that are using content probably not in the right legal format. And so for us is to understand what those platforms are and how to take those content down and to really maximize on the creator or the IP owner and really protect their rights. Because if we can protect their rights and steer everyone to the right destination, whether it be on YouTube or on Facebook or our own platform, then brand advertisers will also want to be part of that ecosystem. And so that's what we've created, is this ecosystem between the creator or the IP owner, the brands, and POPs orchestrating this.
So talking about protecting the IP owners, how do you recruit and reward the musicians, producers, and artists or licensors per se in distributing their music and videos?
I think with POPs we are very aggressive, but we are this silent tiger that comes up out of nowhere and really goes in after these parties, and we're persistent. We're very persistent on making sure that the IP is protected. And it's like guacamole. You hit them, once and they go down and they come back up. And so it's a constant game of guacamole. But we're persistent and we'll continue to go after them until the market is educated enough and to understand that, if you want quality content, you want still free available content, you can still get that, but on POP's platform or POP's branded destinations.
Right, so persistence is definitely very important.
That's
Let's
right.
talk about OTT. Is POPs moving into the OTT over-the-top service, and how do you see the OTT market?
Oh, absolutely. We are moving ahead quite aggressively, actually. So we've launched our service in Vietnam. We've also launched our service in Thailand, and next year, Q2, we'll launch in Indonesia. I think one of the biggest differences between POPs and a lot of the other OTT players is that we are regional, but yet we are local. We have 3 different markets with 3 different products. We're not a Netflix, we are not a View who has one product and they just turn the switch and you can, there you have it, it's the same. For us, we believe in local content for local market, local team for local market, because every market in Southeast Asia is so different, as I mentioned before, and we firmly believe that. And so our product is not just a one size fit all. It's very localized, it's very custom for the users in each market.
I see that POPs pay a lot of attention to consumer behavior in different parts of Asia, for example. So do you see any change in consumer behavior over the content streaming industry amid the COVID-19 pandemic? And would you say it's an opportunity or a challenge for you guys?
It's both, I would have to say. We are definitely one of the lucky ones where COVID did not have such a great impact on negatively. We were able to see a rise in viewership, a rise in watch time, And that was great. It's great for our business. And a lot of users were discovering new types of content, new formats, new titles. And I think that was very exciting from a content standpoint. However, COVID, we are not immune to COVID. So we did see an impact on maybe say advertisement, because we are not dependent on users paying for the service, but advertisers to spend. And they were subjected to lower spending by consumers, or they were more cautious, so they weren't advertising as often. But because everyone's now moving along, and Vietnam and Thailand are doing so well in controlling the impact of COVID, we didn't see too much of a hit.
That's true, because everyone is staying home during COVID-19, right? So they are watching more videos, listening to more music.
That's right. And so the only impact would be like there's too many options, right? And so how do you get your piece of content in front of your target audience? And so I think that's one of our strengths for the past 10 years is we're able to identify who is interested in what type of content and making sure that they're able to see that or discover that piece of content.
Right. So Esther, I know that you're a Vietnamese with legal educational background and Silicon Valley working experience from the US. So does your unique background actually assist the journey of your entrepreneurship?
Yes, and I would have to thank my dad for this. From university days, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I also had my dad's voice in the background, go to law school, right? And I didn't listen right away, of course, being as this rebellious girl, but eventually I did go to law school, and in hindsight, I recently told my dad this after decades, that it was one of the best decisions to go and get a law degree or legal background education, because it's really been able to teach me how to identify the issues, how to break down problems, and how to look at it to solve, and know where, how to build the business and what lines I should not cross, and really have this kind of a ruler or a guideline, a guiding star for me with a legal background. So I think my father all the time, thank you for encouraging me to go to law school. So.
Well, I'm sure your dad is very pleased with your achievement right now. So before we close today's discussion, so Esther, if you were to give one advice to aspire other entrepreneurs, what would it be?
Oh, it's a good question, and one that I always mention to every entrepreneur that I meet. I would say there's two things. One is to find yourself a support system. And a support system, one is who's going to bring you up and say all the kind and nice, encouraging words, because you're going to have a lot of down days. And so you want to have that person right by you. Also, you need to find a team, and I mean team, of mentors, because you're going to need to tap into them at one point or another, either for financing, for advice, for questions that you may have during every aspect of your business or every growth stage of your business. So it's always very important to have people who have been there and done that help you guide yourself and your journey going forward. Secondly, I think, and this is most important, is persistence. I think it's super important that entrepreneurs keep going, never give up, because you're going to not get it right the first time. You're going to have to try and try again. You're going to have to find different ways, think outside the box. And so persistence is super important for you to get through all of the different challenges, because the answer is not going to be there for you. You're trying to build something new and something great. And so you have to find your way. And so don't give up. And entrepreneurship definitely rewards persistence.
Yes, indeed. The journey of entrepreneurship can be lonely sometimes, so it's very important to have your mentors and your team with you. So thank you so much, Esther, for the very insightful sharing today. To those of you who are watching, if you have any question or interest to further exchange with Esther or explore business collaborations with Pops Worldwide, Esther and her team are now attending the Hong Kong International Licensing Show, which is concurrent with Asian Licensing Conference. You may ask HKTDC to help connect you with Esther. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
There are still more sharings from successful Asian entrepreneurs. Please stay tuned to other episodes of Entrepreneur Dialogue. You may also explore the following channels for more programs: Expert Sharing, Culture and Arts; Expert Sharing, Digital Entertainment; Licensing Academy.